Hi, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title, this is a fertility update. Excuse my three-day-old curls. They're wild, and I have to redo them tonight because tomorrow's picture day at work. I feel like a kid again, getting ready for picture day tomorrow. But yeah, so anyway, back to the topic. This is another fertility update. Throughout the video, you're going to see me dressed in various things because I recorded clips before and after the various doctor's appointments that I've had to go to since the last video, because there have been quite a few. But I might pop in from here every now and then just to fully explain everything that went on. But yeah, enjoy. So the last video, I was due to go get my blood work checked in a couple days for to see if the metformin and levothyroxine that I'm on for my insulin resistance and thyroid had worked and my levels were back in the normal range. So the first clip you'll see is before and after that appointment. So after those appointments, the doctor called me a couple days later and told me that my levels were in the normal range. My doctor was very pleased with how I had responded to the medicines, and he wanted to proceed with a medicated IUI. Medicated IUI can happen a number of ways. So you can take oral medications, Clomid or Letrozole, also known as Femara. Clomid is probably the most common fertility medicine. It makes people who don't ovulate, and it can stimulate more follicles in people who do ovulate. So, and more mature follicles. And Femara does the same thing. However, Clomid can often cause thinner uterine lining, thinner endometrium than is ideal for what you'd like to see in order to have a successful pregnancy. And Femara doesn't really affect your uterine lining. I'm not sure the difference in how they operate, because although I do research everything, I did not research that. So Femara doesn't do that. The doctor didn't even mention wanting to put me on Clomid. The other ways to have a medicated IUI are injectable medications called gonadotropins. I think that's how you pronounce it. But these medicines are often used in IVF as well, because they provide much more stimulation than Letrozole and Clomid do. But normally for IUI, unless you have severe ovulation problems and don't respond to the oral medicines, the doctor will just do oral. So he had me do Letrozole, and it's usually taken day 3 to 7 of your cycle, or day 5 to 9. I went in on day 2 of my cycle for the ultrasound to see if I had any cysts before I was allowed to start with the IUI process. And at that point, the next day is when I started the Letrozole. So my doctor wanted me to do medicated IUI with Letrozole, and potentially, if necessary, do an injectable if the Letrozole wasn't stimulating the production of my follicles enough. Then the next part of a medicated IUI is after your follicles get to the ideal size, which is 18 millimeters or bigger, then the doctor wants you to do a trigger shot. A trigger shot is 5,000 or 10,000 units of the HCG hormone, which is the hormone you produce when you're pregnant. And what this does when you take it in shot form at this stage is it forces your body to ovulate in 36 hours. So that way the doctor can perfectly time the IUI and give you the best possible chances of pregnancy from IUI. I don't think I talked about the success rates of IUI. IUIs are not as successful as you think they were. During an IUI, your husband provides his sample, they wash it, and only the very best sperm are then injected straight into your uterus to give you the best possible chances of getting pregnant. However, since you're already having problems getting pregnant if you've gotten to this point, most likely, then the chances are about the same as if you were trying naturally, which each month you only have, depending, there are many factors, age being a major one, you only have about a 25 to 30% chance each month of getting pregnant, especially in my age group, which is 30 to 35. And with IUI, you have about 20 to 25% chance if everything else is good. So it doesn't increase your chances over someone who's trying naturally. It just puts you on a level playing field, so to speak, I suppose. So that's what a medicated IUI is. And so after I got that call, we had to decide if that's what we wanted to go forward with. And we did decide that just because it was the best option provided to us. And what we've been doing hasn't been working, so obviously we wanted to try something new. And all these clips that follow start with the day I started the day I went in for the blood work to check to see if my levels were good enough to proceed with fertility treatments, and then follow all the appointments I've had since then up until our actual IUI, which happened today, November 4th. And so with that being said, here we go. So I'm outside of my fertility doctor and I'm about to go in to get my blood work done to get it retested to see if my medicines that I'm on for insulin resistance and hypothyroidism are working. And if they are, then I'll get prescribed Clomid and hopefully that'll work. So we'll see. So I'm leaving my 2-hour glucose test. I got stuck 5 times for 2 vials of blood. My veins weren't cooperating, they kept clotting. So I got stuck right here twice, that didn't work. Got stuck right here once, that didn't work. Then they finally got blood out of this hand, and then when I had to get my second vial, they got it out of this hand. So this vein blew after they got it, so then they had to do my other hand. So yeah, that was my journey today. So last week I got a call from a nurse at my fertility doctor's office, and she told me that my levels came back good and that the doctor wanted us to proceed with medicated IUI, which I'll explain more later about that, I probably already explained it. And I have to do a baseline ultrasound right now, so here I go. So I just got out of the doctor's office. Everything looks good except I had a cyst on my right ovary, but it wasn't big enough that they required my estrogen to be checked. I only have to, they think it's left over from a previous cycle, so, and that it just hasn't been absorbed by the body yet. So I'm good to go. I got a schedule with when I have to take medicine and when I have to come back next week for a follow-up ultrasound to see the size of my follicles and if I need to do an injectable medicine. And yeah, we're good to start IUI. So I just left the doctor's office and got my blood drawn to test estrogen, progesterone, and my FSH levels. FSH is a hormone that surges. It's called follicle stimulating hormone, and it surges, and that's what causes you to release an egg. So I also got an ultrasound to see how my follicles are, and my dominant follicle is 15 millimeters. They said if it's over 14, they start growing at a rate of about 1.5 to 2 millimeters a day, and they want an 18 before I do my trigger shot. So what the trigger shot does is it's a shot of HCG, which is the hormone you produce when you're pregnant, and it forces an egg to release in 36 hours. So they do that just so the IUI is timed properly, rather than just waiting for you to ovulate naturally. So I had quite a few other follicles, like maybe 5 more. I can't remember exactly how many. On the side with the 15, I think that was on my right side, I also had I want to say a 10. I can't remember. On my left side, I know I had an 11. So the 15 is probably the one that's gonna, my glasses are fogging. The 15 is probably the one that's gonna stay dominant, but the other smaller ones can also get fertilized. So, which is why IUI sometimes has a high rate of multiples, but hopefully I don't end up with like more than 2. But preferably 1. So yeah, so I have a 15, and I'm gonna get later today, my patient portal is gonna be updated with all of them, so then I can look and see what the other sizes were, because I don't remember. And they're gonna call me between 1 and 2 after the doctor goes over my results at lunchtime, and from there I'll know when to do the shot, and then 36 hours after the shot I have to go in and do the IUI. They said it might fall when my doctor's in Baton Rouge. Right now I'm in Lafayette, so I may be doing the IUI in another city. But yeah, that's it so far. I'll update later today when I know exactly when I'm triggering and when I get to look and see how big my follicles are. I had an appointment this morning. I'm not sure if I did an update on my appointment Wednesday, but I wasn't quite ready, so they had me come back in again this morning. And I have 1 dominant follicle. It's 18 millimeters. They did blood work. I don't have the results of the blood work yet, but on Wednesday my estrogen was low and my lining was thin. My lining is still thin, so I think my estrogen's probably still low. And they just called and told me they want me to do 5 days of estrogen starting tonight. Tomorrow I do the trigger shot at 10:45 p.m. and then our IUI is Monday morning at 10:45. I'm so excited. So that's the update for now. Okay, this is the shot that I have to do. It's a trigger shot, HCG, which is the same hormone that people make when they're pregnant. I've never, that's the needle that I'm gonna use to mix it. I've never done this before, so we'll see how well I do. This is the needle that I'm gonna inject it with. They gave me 2, I'm not sure why. They gave me 2 of these, but I am sure why they did that. One's to mix and one's to mix and one's to directions, but I don't follow these directions. And one's to pull up into the syringe. Okay. This is the powder. And this is the water liquid that I mix the powder with to make the solution. But I forgot my instructions that the doctor gave me, so I have to go get those. Okay, these are the instructions. says draw up 1 milliliter of water into syringe and then discard remaining liquid. So I have the syringe mix with the powder and then draw up all the medication and inject. The syringe, leave it capped because I need to uncap this, but I'm going to sterilize the top of it because that's what I've seen them do with the doctor. I bought some alcohol prep pads. I actually didn't buy these thinking about sterilizing the top. I bought them to sterilize my skin. So, clean the top of that. Then I need 1 milliliter. Who would have thought I'd ever be doing this? And this is very flexible that they showed me at the doctor's office. So I do 1. Uh-oh. Sliding down. How do people do this with 2 hands? 1. 1 milliliter. Oh. Okay. Okay, that's 1 milliliter. So then I have to inject it into here. And then I have another alcohol. Then to mix it, I have to roll it around like this because they said this keeps it from creating bubbles. Roll, roll, roll. There's still some pieces. Roll, 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 roll. It looks good. Let me do it a little bit longer. Okay. My other syringe to draw it up. Hey. Okay, clean it again. Take the cap off. Okay, I got it all up. Now, I'm gonna get the air out. There's a little bit of air. Okay. Will you open one of these for me? Thanks. What time is it? I don't know. Gotta put the other needle on. I think it's on all the way. Okay. Time to give myself the shot. Okay, it's time.
Oh Lord. You ain't nervous?
Kind of. You can't even feel it. Where's the other one? You didn't want too slow. There we go. Now I'm just going to put one of these on it and all done. The trigger shot causes a false positive pregnancy test. So you have to test out the trigger till it's out of your system. That way, once you start testing to see if the IUI worked, you'll know that it is actually a real positive and not the trigger shot still in your system. So this was the first test I did the next day to see if the trigger shot was in my system. So we just got our IUI done. They're making me lay here till the timer goes off. You can probably hear it ticking. And then I do start progesterone tomorrow, and they said call in 14 days. I guess they'll do a blood test to see the results. Hopefully this one works, but usually IUIs don't work the first time, so we will see. Jonathan, you want to say anything? All right. Yeah, so that's what's been going on with us the last few weeks. We are very hopeful, but also realistic about the IUI working. Obviously, as I told you, the success rates aren't even 50% or close. So we're optimistic that it will work, but if not, we'll just repeat again next month. The doctor, after the IUI, the doctor said, I hope y'all rock this one out. So he's hopeful as well, but he was extremely happy with the sperm count we got from Jonathan's sample, and also he said that my lining should have responded well to the estrogen as well as the trigger shot, and also the progesterone that I'm going to start tomorrow will help that. So I'm hopeful it worked this time, but if not, I'm ready to keep going. So just pray or send out well wishes that we are successful, and like I said, I'm not sure if I'll update if we are, but thanks so much, and thank you to everyone who has reached out since my last video. Lots of women reached out about the things they've been going through, and I'm just very happy that this has opened up the door and given people someone to talk to, because as I said in my first video, this is often something that women deal with in secret and are shameful about, and I just really want to change the culture surrounding fertility issues. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned until next time. Thanks.